What's up? I'm WalkR. I am a recording engineer and artist from Alexandria, Louisiana. And I wanted to show you guys today a template that I've developed over a couple year period using Reaper for rap and hip hop vocals. This session, the song is called Like I Told You, Like I Would, and the beat is by Skio. So check him out. He's an awesome producer. This is the session. There's a lot going on to it. It looks maybe like a lot, but in my head it really all makes sense how all of this is set up. I'm going to play a little bit of the song and then give you a quick run through of this session and how I use it.
This that big shit. I done leveled up like I told you that I would, yeah. Yeah, turn it up in here, I want something to smoke on. These bitches can't keep up with me, shit, now I'm a fucking problem. I grind until I die, they all pussy, I don't know what else I'm calling. What else I'm supposed to call it? What else I'm supposed to call you? I can't stop till I got 50 bands on my wrist. I want so much fucking cash to Pablo look like he ain't shit. You said I was crazy, now you watch me make these moves. Call me gain a function by the way that I improve. I'm a virus, bitch, I take over everything. Now sit your ass down and let me give you lessons. I'm trying to teach your stupid ass. I sending out the wrong message. I've been trying to tell you this, but people out there trying to tell you every white man prejudice. But now that I got your attention, let's get these young men out of prison, get them into politics and these old men out the fucking system. Yeah. Check my new pistol out, check out my new black shirt, plain Jane, Mary Jane. Bitch, check out my Thursday boots. Why me do all of this shit? That bitch said that
Alright, so that's a bit of the song. And one thing you can probably tell right off bat is that my vocals are very dynamic. I can go really quick from whispering or very soft-spoken line to shouting, yelling. And so keep a couple things in mind as we run through this. Number one, I don't care about rules. I want to make music that makes me feel things. And number two, I need it to be fast. So I don't write with pen and paper. This is my pen and paper. The session is my pen and paper. So I need to be able to move from line to line to line to line quickly, to add effects quickly, to make the things that I can hear in my head in real time happen quickly. Number three is I'm not doing any mastering sessions after the fact of this session. I'm running all these things through signal chains and gain staging, and at the top of this session you'll see the print track. I'm struggling with my mouse a bit. The print track, and by the end of this session, whenever I've cut on the mastering chain, the mix chain, the mastering chain, I've gone through all the EQing and processes. I'm just printing, and that's what I'm posting. It's a very quick fun process for me. So it starts with the 2-track. On there I've got auto key, that's just for tuning the beat, finding the beat, that is, finding the key and tuning and tempo of the beat. I put the NLS bus on there for a little bit of character. I do turn the noise on. The center plugin, I start spreading things apart with the 2-track here. Most of what I do is with the 2-track. A lot of what the hip hop industry does, at least at a certain level, is with the 2-track. So I start to move and play with the sound here. Some EQ. Now on this beat in particular, by Skio, I really like, because the bass felt like the bottom was falling out of it. It reminded me of like a really low tune guitar bass, and I wanted to leave that alone, but there was some parts in the mid-range that weren't sticking out like I thought they should. Just using the 2-track, I didn't have the stems to play with it. So there's some EQ boosting some frequencies there on the mid and the sides. I'm dipping a little bit here for vocals. I'm cutting some of the hi-hat, that high end, just tick 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 tick, but I'm putting I'm bringing the highs up all together, to let them be a little bit brighter, to let the instruments be a bit brighter. And then the smack attack plugin from Waves, this makes all the transients kind of, I want to, I'll use the term a little bit looser, like they pop out more, but it just feels like there's more of a separation within the 2-track whenever you boost this plugin a good bit with the EQing before it. This is just some metering I use from time to time. That gets sent to this music bus, and the reason that the music bus is there is so that way if I'm using stems I can send all of those to do the same thing. But the music bus, and I don't do this all the time, but I threw a little bit of ambience delay on here. I'm not cutting anything, and it's not a bunch of it. It's just enough to make that track again feel like it's not just a a compressed wave file or MP3 file. And then the ozone imager, I'm spreading this a lot at this point, and I'm gonna do that a lot throughout this session, to play with the sound, to spread it out. You might run into some phasing issues or something like that if you really to put it under a microscope. I don't care. It sounds good. I'm doing what sounds good, and really what feels good to me, that makes me move and really feel the music. I'm not really worried about the minute issues that are going to come from that people aren't going to notice in their car or on their phone or in their headphones. Now we'll go to the vocals. It starts with the record track, and I use Auto-Tune Artist. I haven't upgraded anything yet. I still like Artist. I'm afraid to upgrade anything like everyone else because there may be changes or things to figure out, so we're still running that. Into a de-esser, compression, just a little bit. The C4 multiband, I'm doing some multiband compression here. A bit of EQ. This is just the record track. This is just for me to hear, and is the initial print of the vocal. More de-esser. This plugin called Sky Blue EQ4. It's a free plugin, or at least it was at the time I got it. I really like this for what it does on the high end of things, and a bit of reverb. Again, this is all just the print track. This is all just for monitoring to give me like a baseline of what I'm going for. Those get printed and they get dropped down. So line by line, I'll record and drop down, and that's what you're seeing here with these individual cuts. These 4 tracks are the main vocal, what I would probably call leads, main vocal lines. These 2 here are the same but filtered, almost a telephone effect. These are more of the same, but the telephone effect is a bit more of a low end focused effect. So if we're looking at our main lines, we've got auto-tune. I've got 3 de-essers. I'm not afraid to stack compression, and what I'm doing is I'm cutting off a little bit at each stage. I'm not hitting everything all at once. And so that way I can be really dynamic with my vocal. And it's kind of set up, the way I think about it is, as my vocal needs to hit something, it hits this. And it hits each effect as it needs to. I've got 2 stages of compression, at least of the R comp, I should say. I've got the 1175. This is an 1174 bass, obviously in Reaper. The Re-EQ4, and I start cutting some of those frequencies I don't like here. Again, you might see some frequencies here that are some things that seem like a lot or a little, but no rules. I'm doing what I need to. So these highs were offend me a little bit with my voice. So I start cutting them there. More de-esser, and then EQ again. And you could go in and do maybe just one big swoop. I think with the technology today, we have the ability to be a little bit more precise. And so if we have the ability, why not, you know? This is a LA1A by Toucan. This is a Reaper bass effect by Hala Vintage Verb. This is just a little bit of drum air on the main lead, and some compression there at the end. These would be the same with just again some high cuts and low cuts for telephone effects. These 4 tracks here get fed into this bus A, and we have more de-esser, more compression, a bit more EQ. Here, this is where I start actually playing with the sound of the vocal and boosting things that I want, cutting things that I don't, getting real a little bit more minute with things. Some limiting. This is just for volume. The SSL channel, de-esser, the C4 multiband. Again, theme through this, I like to play with compression and use it as a way to be able to be very dynamic with my voice, as opposed to just cutting frequencies. CLA. This is really fun for some pitch shifting things. A bit of saturation, and the 12 band built-in EQ with Reaper. I like this one for just doing a little bit of last broad brush stuff. I tend to actually really like how this sounds whenever I boost a bit of lows on my vocals. This signal gets fed into all of these channels here that I pretty much treat as underlying effects, and these are all running in unison at all the time. So I've got 3 reverbs, and those are all running. I am essentially drowning out the room reverb. I don't have any room treatment. My studio setup is mobile, so I can record anywhere. So I use technology to my advantage in this case to drown out the room reverb. I've got a delay, quarter note that runs all the time, and this is just for a little bit of underlying filler. Some modulation here in the form of the Valhalla space modulator, and a little bit of EQ, just boosting a frequency that I really liked just on the effect channel. Doubler, some overdrive, tube saturation, and I'm actually running 2 tube saturations in this case. And this is one of the plugins that I probably play with the most, because you can drive this, you can attenuate this, you can change up a lot of different things, and I wish this was still a standalone plugin through Antares. I don't think it is anymore, which is kind of why I don't want to upgrade. But you can really do some cool stuff, at least I find, with my vocals with that one. I've got a BPP saturator just for some heaviness. The Oro Exciter, I really like that one. It starts to bring my vocal to the front end, and a little bit of New York compression. I'm not always slamming the compression on this. Sometimes I am. Sometimes I like it more around -10. But yeah, really great compressor from UA. So again, that's my lead tracks that you're normally always hearing. They are always running at all times. The other tracks that you see down here are effects that are in the form of delays or really long reverbs, and then 2 blank tracks to do whatever you wanted with. So I'll cut a bit of the lead if I wanted to, and like this here, the screen here is just a cut of the end of this here, and it gives you the ability to have really long delay throws, really long or short, whatever you wanted to do, delays, different modulations, only at a certain part of a song, instead of having to go in and write automation, taking the time to do all that. I can just record, drag and drop as I'm writing. And so on these tracks, they're just like, for the throw, for instance, we've got auto tune, EQ, and I'm slamming the EQs and things on this because these are nothing but modulated pieces of sound, bits of sound. Some de-esser, vocal rider, and I'm using this to really tame this to such a small window, a small frame of audio, a small to take up a very minimal portion of your audio space. Some compression, more EQ. The doubler is directly on the throw track here, so is some delay and some reverb. Those all get sent to your effects bus, which is just some compression, some limiting for volume, the SSL channel, some de-esser, C4, and this plugin called A1 Control. It's a stereo plugin, and I really I like to use different plugins just to make things feel fresh and fun. And so this is just another way to spread out your stereo with in the session. Again, all effects tracks, all just playing at small moments within the song to give you an effect. And your bus B here is just for these 2 tracks here, and these 2 gray ones are empty. This is just a kind of like a background wash tone that I really like, that layers really well, especially with singing vocals. De-esser, some vocal rider on this. I'm really treating it the same way as the effects track, really. And all of those vocal tracks, so everything that has a vocal to it, is getting sent to the vocal sum, and that gets hit with a little bit of EQ and some de-esser and some compression and some more ozone. I'm just spreading out that stereo with just as wide as I can. All, or I should say, these two tracks here. So if you've followed, the music all comes out of the music bus and all of the vocals. So your bus A and all of its effects there, and then my two buses here, bus B and the FX bus, they all get summed here at the vocal sum. Your music bus here has all your music, and those get summed here at the mix bus, where I do a little bit of lowering the volume, and sometimes I may do a little bit of EQ for last minute frequency adjust. I'll do some compression, some limiting. The black box, I love this plugin for what it does. It really just gives a knock to the mix and a bit more limiting. And that one bus gets sent to the master bus for another little bit of volume adjustment before hitting the master plan plugin. I like this one a lot. I don't like overcomplicated plugins. This feels really easy for me to use. I'm comfortable with it. And by the end of my session, everything's summed here, and this is sent to the print track where I print, and that is the entire master. It's hitting where I want to hit. It's all mixed. There's no need to go to a different session. There's for what I'm doing, for how I like to create, this inspires me. I hope that you maybe saw something here that inspires you to try something fun in your next session.